Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm hoping you guys are all having a fantastic day. So today's upload we'll be talking about a growing potential for two systems, it seems. First one coming in this weekend and the next one early next week. So we are still a bit away. As of right now it is Wednesday the 4th and these systems are still a few days away, so obviously the confidence is a bit low and that could mean quite a big difference. So before we get into this, if you guys like weather related content, anything to do with the weather, I'm a hobbyist. I like talking about the weather, so if that interests you, you like this video, you liked my other videos, consider subscribing, and if you're a returning viewer, liking the video is always appreciated significantly, so thank you for that. Let's start off by looking at the GFS model, Global Forecasting System. This is one of many models I look at. I always try looking at a bunch of models, and honestly, you have to. And whether you have to look at many models because of how different they are for each storm, and which ones get the storm right is always varying. So sometimes the European has a better handle, sometimes the GFS parallel Canadian. Start off by looking at the GFS model, Global Forecasting System. That's what it stands for. Notice that right now, very warm today. I think we had 72 or 71 across Chicago. An absolutely stunning day. I wish we could have had more of those a bit earlier on, but we'll take anything we can get. And just absolutely amazing. So that's definitely awesome. It will continue to be in that range of temperatures and pleasantness. You could see that most of the United States is high and dry. Really just the outskirts of the United States, kind of like the corners, if you will, of Pennsylvania. The peninsula of Florida, you could see, will be at around possibly seeing some showers and rain showers into this weekend and really this week. The Northwest also is active, but the thing is with the Northwest, they're all over the place in terms of they're going to be basically seeing, what I meant is they're going to be seeing rain and snow through most of this week, right? But the models are varying on how far this precipitation digs in. You can see that the GFS keeps a lot of precip across the Northwest, but it's really just the Northwest, not the West. Doesn't get really much far past Idaho or Montana, extreme western Montana. But this really changes amongst all models. They start pointing out quite a bit of moisture making its way further inland late Saturday. So this is now late Friday. We have a storm system occurring, some snow across California, actually quite a bit of snow. The first significant winter storm of the season for California. Otherwise, it's been pretty dry for those locations. So definitely this precipitation as snow or rain is going to be welcome, especially since the drought is just crushing in terms of magnitude. Notice that this storm system at this point looks very unorganized, but within a few 6-hour intervals. This is 2 o'clock in the afternoon Saturday, and this is what it looks like 2 o'clock in the morning Sunday. So 12 hours later, you could see much more precipitation across much of the Rockies, heavy snow where the cold air is present, and quite a bit of rain across the lower elevations. And with the help of the mountains, those snowfall ratios and rates can be maxed out to provide really high amounts of snow for the little amount of precip the storm has. As you can see, it still hasn't connected with the Gulf of Mexico. It's still relying a lot on the Pacific Ocean. And oftentimes the water or the precipitation that comes off the Pacific is associated with warm air and kind of accompanies it. And that isn't too good for snow. But notice this system has enough of cold air, and by a really early Sunday, we have at this point, it seems a full-fledged blizzard across Montana into Wyoming, Idaho, and southern Canada. Obviously, this track is still yet to be determined. Some models take this storm a bit further towards North Dakota, so that would bring the snow, a bit further to the east, a bit further to the west with the models like the GFS. Notice this thing is a blizzard because of, the blizzard. It's 35 miles per hour or greater winds. You can see at this point with these isobars packed that tightly, it's most definitely going to be 35 miles per hour or greater. The snow needs to be either falling or blowing around, and in this case, it will probably be both. It will be blowing around the snow that fell and also the snow falling, and reduce visibility for, I think, under a fourth of a mile for more than 3 hours, which that seems to be the case in this scenario. And a blizzard will probably be out of this system. Notice it moves into southern Canada. Still a lot of snow, so much heavy snow, lots of ice and sleet. But look at the amount of precipitation, the rain side, if you will. Almost nothing, really. A few showers across Minnesota. However, with the lingering energy that the cold front delivers and kind of develops after the storm already pulls through, it directly ties in with the next system, which is why I say two storm systems, because you could see some rain does develop and it sits on for quite a while, but we start seeing we start seeing more activity, a bit of connection to the tropics, the Gulf of Mexico, the south, and this potentially some models are indicating a snowstorm out of this, and some models, I mean, like the European is showing a snow system out of this. Notice more and more models are showing a tropical system of some sort, tropical storm, tropical depression, maybe a hurricane, and more extreme examples, more extreme scenarios. That could definitely aid in giving moisture for, obviously, in terms of rain for the south, but then later on giving quite a bit of a snow potential, or just aiding in the storm production. And notice the GFS really sticks this storm around, doesn't move it up. But if this were to move up to the north at around this time, that would definitely provide more of a significant system. Still picks up quite a bit of moisture and becomes a stronger system than if it didn't pick up that moisture. At this point, this is pretty far out, 234 hours. And notice that we could see continued precipitation across the west. This model doesn't take these storms out into the plains. They don't. The atmospheric conditions just simply don't line up. But if they were, then we could see some beasts. Notice it does include some activity still. And again, these models have been a bit more jumpy with these past couple of storms than they have been in the last month. So that's definitely not the best of news, especially since confidence is key. Let's look at the 18 or 00Z Wednesday. So this one's a bit outdated, a few hours old, or a few almost 18 hours old, but that's the newest one out of this GFS parallel family member. And notice that if we were to push this through, we see the same, very dry, very warm. We see precipitation hitting the northwest, continuing through tomorrow into Friday and into early Saturday. And then by the time we see late Friday, early Saturday, the storm moves further to the south. Quite a bit of rain and snow may be occurring, and then notice this thing explodes across these locations. Very heavy snow, similar to what the regular GFS, the operational one, shows. GFS parallel, main difference, a bit further to the east, though, again, same strength, really a lot of snow, limited rain, almost absolutely no rain. It's a really impressive sight because it's rare to see such a strong storm with such heavy snowfall rates with so minimal, such a minimal rain side. Usually they do have at least some sort of a cold front trying to develop. Notice the GFS parallel brings that tropical disturbance way closer to the Gulf, so or to the shores of U.S. So all that moisture is more easily and readily picked up by any storm system than what the GFS showed. Notice we have that cold front lingering, and the GFS parallel does develop a pretty large storm system out of this. There's a snowy side and a large rainy side with the help of this tropical storm. So this is, you can see, different from the GFS, even though it's just a couple of letter difference in the name. And notice this moves into Canada, so quite a bit of snow as that occurs, obviously. But the question is whether or not it will occur. Too tough to call at this point, and then you can see it still keeps it active with plenty of storm potential. Obviously a few areas of break, but notice continued trend of seeing more precip across the southwest, and that's most definitely good news. If you were to look at the total snowfall accumulations from this whole event with the GFS parallel, I think it only shows snow from 240 hours, so a lot of this will be still underdone possibly for the long term, but you can see snow, lots of snow potential, and large cities in the crosshairs, especially with that second system, larger cities. Notice quite a bit of snow, especially, pretty widespread across Nevada, Idaho, Oregon, and Utah. If you were to look at the total accumulated precipitation in terms of rain and snow, so it just converts the snow into the rain, we could take this out to 384 hours, and honestly, the best piece of news from this is at how wet the southwest will be. Obviously, that's not soaking, that won't break the drought, but it's a step in the right direction and definitely provide a tad of relief. And even they'll take anything they can get. The central southern plains, say Texas and eastern New Mexico and southern Oklahoma, really Oklahoma, the whole state, these areas, not seeing much rain, but again, one track that changes from one storm, and that could be a whole different scenario. I forgot to show you the GFS, total accumulated precipitation, but generally the same. You could see quite a bit across the Midwest, though not record-breaking by any means. A bit across the portions of the Northwest and the Southwest again, so that's a good trend, and drier across the central southern plains, Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas. Total snowfall, you could see that it is definitely pretty impressive. Let's go. Sorry about that map. It always glitches out a bit. It has that trouble rendering, if you will. Notice that the GFS regular shows a ton of snow with that first system, not so much with that second, as it really doesn't even develop the second one, but it seems to be an outlier. More models are developing that second system than not, but again, that is not always reliable to assume. But notice that if you look across the Southwest, Colorado, New Mexico, and Arizona, in this model run, a bit more limited. It's just in northern locations, but still they're seeing it, and that's definitely welcomed. You could see quite a bit of snow across the Sierra Nevada, maybe even some 4 feet amount. So that would definitely be good news if they saw quite a bit of snow there. They are in a drought. And notice quite a bit of snow across the north with that first system. Not much with that second one, but again, the GFS regular is an outlier. Let's take a look at the Canadian model. This one I don't like. Probably the most out of all of these models, but I still look at it and notice that it's fortunately agreeing with the other models, so that's always a good sign. As that second storm, similar more again to the GFS parallel. Pretty significant, that first system, lots of mountain snow. I mean, ton of mountain snow, more than what the GFS regular is showing, the Canadian, more closer to what the parallel is showing. And now let's take a look at the European model. So for the European model, in order to look at the precipitation and forecast, I want to look at this other website, which is Pivotal Weather, and this website, by the way, is Tropical Tidbits, tropicaltidbits.com. This is Pivotal Weather, pivotalweather.com. Very good websites, both of them, and available free resources, extraordinary resources. So if you were to look at what the European shows, very similar as of now, dry, warm, beautiful weather, just absolutely gorgeous, right? But as we push this forward, you can see a lot of precip across the southwestern Canada and northwestern, northwestern United States. As we push this into time, you can see a few pieces of energy break away, but those really don't amount to much across major significant areas. It's pretty far to the north, and the snow they bring isn't significant. It's definitely not, flurries, but it's definitely there. And if you were to look in the longer range into Saturday night, or Saturday midday, this is Saturday evening, you can see that storm system blows up around that same time frame as the other model shows, late Saturday evening, early Sunday. And really, again, the European, quite a bit of snow, some ice, minimal cold front, not much rain. But again, European is one of those models that develops that second system pretty strongly. It could be a potentially very interesting storm for, say, Minneapolis, Duluth, Arrowhead of Minnesota, and the kind of the northwestern section of Wisconsin. And then notice that we have that system also making its way a bit delayed, and it's interesting to see if these things kind of work together and possibly create another bigger storm across the northeast. And you can see that the European is definitely hinting at that, but it's also showing more snow across the west, another storm system hitting those locations as we approach the end of this model run. And as far as it goes, in terms of total snowfall, again, pretty high amounts, which is definitely good news. Notice this is what kind of falls at those first clippers. It's looking pretty nice. You can see it's just like a different shading of blue. It's like an ocean. 4, 5, 2 inches, that range, I would say 2 to 5, maybe some locations, if helped by some lake effect, maybe over 6 inches. Notice, obviously, the mountains see a lot of snow. Second system also providing quite a bit of confidence with that snow, and into Idaho, Montana, and the west in general, seeing quite a bit of snow. So that's definitely good news. Sierra Nevada, Northern California need that rain, need that precipitation, and obviously if it falls as snow, it won't stay as snow forever. It will melt, and that will provide relief. In terms of the precipitation, so in terms of just rain, or calculates rain into this and the snow, converts the snow into the rain amount. I do not want to look at that. I'm a bit tired right now for some reason, so I may be a bit lagging. mentally. But notice again, rain looks pretty good and obviously shows quite a bit more across these locations, as that doesn't fall as snow, but quite a bit across the east, the south, and into the west. So definitely good news. Not enough to break the drought, but it's a step in the right direction, which is awesome. So that's basically it for today's video. Hopefully gave you guys a bit more of a preview of what's to come. So again, that first system, the northwest, will be just really the only area that's wet across this rest of the week, in Florida maybe as well. And by Saturday, it moves further to the south into northern and southern California. And then it starts expanding into a larger storm. And a lot of areas get expanded, and it does so at around the late Saturday, early Sunday. And that second storm system really follows pretty quickly at around the Monday, Tuesday timeframe, Wednesday timeframe. And how big that system is, it's still yet to be determined. But as of now, thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys on your next episode. See ya. Bye.